In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make this simple kimono top. So you get your fabric, fold it into two, and then the length is going to be just a little bit above the knee. You're going to be joining the back, but if you do not want any joining, this is 1.5 yards of fabric by 16. If you don't want any joining, then you have to make use of 2 yards so that you'll be able to get the full length. But for this, I'm going to be joining the back with about 14 inches. So we're going to fold our fabric into two. We're going to be cutting both the front and the back together. So this is just me measuring the length. We're going to be having 18 inches. That is enough. So on fold we have 18 inches. That means when we open it up, it's going to be 36 inches. So first I'm going to mark the neckline 3.5. I'm going to first of all cut the front and the back neckline together. So the width of the neckline I'm using is 3.5. Do well to make use of your own neckline. And then I'm going to mark the neck depth. I'm making the neck depth of 3 inches. Neck depth of 2.5. So 3.5 by 2.5. We are going to be increasing the front neckline later. So do well to make use of your own neck depth because there is no joining at the shoulder. So that cut the neckline such that the head can go through it. So after taking your measurement, you go ahead and use your scissors to cut it out. So you are cutting both the front and the back neckline together. So after that, you are going to remeasure the neckline. Just extend the front neckline down by 1 inch and then curve it to join the shoulder again. It's also going to have a slit in front, so that, like I said, the head can go through. So the slit will be about 3.5 inches long. So that after sewing to be around 4 inches. So I'm just marking where the slit will get to. So go ahead and mark yours. So this is the shoulder. And then you can go ahead and mark the shoulder to the bust point. I'm making use of 12. Shoulder to bust 12. So mark yours. And then from the bust point or the bust line, you measure the waist. So from there to the waist is about 6 inches. So just mark 6 inches from the bust line. Mark 6 inches from the bust line. That will give you the waistline. And then from the waistline, depending on how tall your client is, you can mark 8 or 9 inches. So I'm just marking 8 inches for the hip line. So this is the bust line, this is the waistline, and then this is the hip line. So you just have it as a guide. It's going to be a loose top, so we will not be using our exact measurement. And of course, we need the full length of the top. So we're not going to be making use of the exact measurement. Because it is a loose top, you use your normal measurement, for example, the bust divided by 4, and then you go ahead and add 3 or 4 inches extra to it, depending on how loose you want it to be. So you can add 2 inches on 4, that means you have added 4. If you add 3 on 4, that means you have added 6. And if you add 4, that means you have added 8. So depending on the size of your customer, you add the allowance that you need. So for this, I eventually made use of remember we measured 18, so I just came in by 3 inches. So that means the width that I made use of was 15 inches on fold. So when you open it up, that would be 60, and the client's hip was 50. The client's hip was 53. So you see that I added extra. Let's say the client hip was 54. I added extra 6 inches to that, making 60. because it is a loose top, so don't use your exact measurements. Sorry about that noise. So when you are through with that, you just go ahead and cut. So the one you're going to cut out, you're going to use it to complete the back. So we'll be using this to complete the back. So if you want to have any joining, it's good to have it at the back. So you just go ahead to notch the shoulder line, because the fabric is a very shaky fabric, so you have to notch the shoulder points, and also the center of the neckline, you notch it so that you use it as a guide when you are opening up your fabric. So you just go ahead and refold the fabric and then you notch it. So that is a midpoint. So we are going to recut the neckline, and just as shown, as I'm doing it, just watch what I'm doing and do same. You open it up so that the back is separated from the front, and then you recut the neckline with 1 inch. Remember, I marked 1 inch, so just recut it towards the shoulder. You stop at the shoulder. And then it's going to have a slit. So go ahead and also notch that point. So after that, you cut open the slit. So we are through with our cutting. So we're going to go ahead and join this part. Just take the piece, place it on it, right side facing each other, right side facing each other, and then you sew with 1/2 inch. After which we are going to weave it. So you sew with 1/2 inch. So I'm just measuring the shoulder to be sure that the armhole area is okay. So I'm going to be cutting this black strip on the side of the kimono top. So just do it to measure from one end to the other end to know the full length that you will need. And then the strip is going to be 1.5 inches wide. So to sew, first of all, we join this back part. After that, like I said, you measure the side because we're going to cut the strip. Measure from one end to the other end. You can also measure it on fold like this. Just measure on fold, and whatever you have, you multiply it by 2. So you take, this is a satin. So you determine how wide you want the strip to be 1 inch or 1 1/4. 1 inch or 1 1/4 or 1 1/2. So after that, you cut it out. You're going to sew it on both sides from the beginning to the end. And then we are also going to cut a strip for the middle, the center front. The center front is going to be 3 inches wide. So when you are cutting, make sure you cut like 4 inches so that after sewing,
so after cutting a long strip like this,
so this is the strip,
you fold it into 2 and iron it.
So you go ahead and
so you're going to be attaching it to the side of the side from one end to the other.
So So we are going to be placing it from one end
to the other. So this is the one for the second side.
The one for the second side.
So it's going to be on it like this.
Like this. We're going to be placing it like this. To sew. There are two ways to do it. The first one is to sew it the way you sew a skirt. You place it on it. You use your pin to secure it. Always work with your pins. So you go ahead, secure it like that from the beginning to the end. So after you have done that, you sew with the same allowance that you have left, that a 1/4 or 1/2 inch. So take note of how I've placed it. So you sew here from one end to the other. Then when you are through, you are going to take the other part over it like this and fold it in with 1/2 inch, and then you top stitch it. Place it like this. So you are going to sew on top. So you can use your pin to also hold it in place. So we are going to be making use of the other method. The other method is to just take the two together like this and place it on the right side of the fabric. So use your pin to hold it down. So we are going to sew from one end to the other end. After that, we are going to flip it like this, and then we are going to top stitch on the pink part. So to sew, like I explained, we'll take two of them together. We'll place it on the right side. So work with your pins. Use your pin to secure it in place or to hold it in place. So you just pin it down. So you do that from one end to, from the beginning to the end. So we are going to sew. After that, you flip it over. So you just go ahead and sew with 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch, depending on your sewing allowance that you have left. So sew from one end. So this is what it looks like after sewing. We are going to be weaving this part. So I'm just showing you what it will look like. So just go ahead and sew to the end. So as you go along, be removing your pins. So this is it. I finished sewing. So you're going to weave this part or knit this part. Weave, take it to the weaving machine and weave it. After which you flip it like this, and then we'll top stitch on the pink part. This pink part, we'll top stitch on it from one end to the other end. And then we are going to sew the middle. And then we'll go ahead and sew the middle part.
So this is what it looks like after weaving it. So we are going to top stitch so that it can lay flat. We'll top stitch here from one end to the other end. We'll do same for the other side, and then for the middle we'll lay it flat like this. This is the wrong side. Then you place what you are going to sew, what you have cut out, you place it on it like this. You iron interfacing on it, okay, and then you come to this right side, you sew it down. After that, you can now cut here open, okay. So I'll show it to you when I've done that to see what it looks like, and then before we do the next thing. So you're going to flip it to the right side, but before then you're going to understitch. So this is how it's going to be. The birds are singing. So press it down. We are going to understitch so that it can relax. We'll understitch here, understitch to this side so that it can relax. So this is what we have after ironing to the right side. Okay, so you go ahead and mark the midpoint, and then from there I marked 2 inches on each side. I'm going to trim off the excess. At the end of the day, it's going to be 3 inches wide. We need ½ inch to fold it in. So this is what we have. So if you like, you can put an interfacing underneath it. You can iron gum stay. But I don't think I'll be adding gum stay to this. And then you're going to fold in ½ inch. We'll fold in ½ inch. Fold in ½ inch on this side, ½ inch on this side. Then you can use your pin to secure it, and then you sew. Just fold it in like this, so that when we are through, it will be 3 inches wide. So I'll come to show you what it looks like after sewing. You fold it in ½ inch like this. Use your pin to secure it, then you sew from one end to from top to bottom, only on the front pattern, on the front side. So let me just quickly show you this. You can use your iron to fold in ½ inch, and then iron it down like this. So that way it will be easy for you to sew. So after ironing like this, then you can now go ahead and use your pin to secure it. So here is about 1 1/4. You know, there's an opening here. Then you can now go ahead and use your pin to secure it like this. then you now sew. You sew from here to down. We also repeat same for the other side. Use the iron to press it down, and then use your pin to secure it, and then go and sew. So this is what we have after completing the middle. So I'm going to tidy the neck. So you can cut facing for the neck, or you pipe it. So to cut the facing, you fold it into two like this, so that you show the neckline. Then you take the piece they are going to use, take enough to cover the neckline. We are not closing this V again, we already closed it, so we just close here, round to this side. So the folded edge should be this folded side as well. Once you feel that you have gotten the wideness, then you go ahead and put it and place it under. Like this. Place this on top like this. So if you like, you can use your pin to secure it in place. You can check the other side to be sure that it will be enough. So this will be enough. And then you go ahead and cut out the neckline. Just be careful that you don't cut your main fabric. So this is what the facing look like. So if you are using a facing, this is what it looks like. You place it on it like this. You place it that the right side will be facing each other like this, like this. So this corner, you can fold it in like this before you start. Just fold it in. Just use your pin to hold it in place. Like this, and then you go ahead and sew round. Then when you have done that, you flip it inside. You flip it in, and then you can use hemi glue to finish the edge. So if you don't want to use a facing, you can use cutting bias to tidy the neck. So make sure to use a matching thread for the neck. So you can start from the back or from this opening here. Just fold this in. The beginning, you fold it in like this. Then you start. You sew from one end to the other. Then after that, you're going to flip it inside. I think I will use this cutting bias. So once you've done that, then you can now go ahead and fold the down. But before you fold it down, make sure that you have top stitch here. Top stitch here from one end to the other end. You do same for the other side, and then you fold the down. You can fold it with 1/2 inch or the same allowance that you have left. Then after that, you sew. You join the side. We are going to be sewing the side from the outer side. So you just join both of them together like this. So you mark where the armhole will get to, and then you just stitch like this. You stitch on it like this. The thread will be showing because this part needs to show. So I'll show you the final look on the mannequin.